You good, take your time. Well, everybody, good to be back. Good to be talking about the news. We got some interesting topics lined up for y'all today. So good to be back and to be talking about the news.
Sorry, guys. I was muted. I finally unmuted myself. So Tonga was talking a little bit. He introduced himself. I'll talk my spiel again real quick. So Week Ahead News Show, episode 42, December 22nd, 2025. Hope everyone's having a good week. Caitlin texted me about that. Thank you, Kate. It's currently 33 degrees, going right into the weather. It feels like 27. Today the low was 18, or going to be 18. High 41, getting into a little bit higher temps into Christmas. Tomorrow the high will be 44. Tomorrow the low will be 33. We're getting some sleet with that weird almost into freezing temps. 85% chance of rain on tomorrow and Tuesday. Wednesday for Christmas Eve, a high of 37, low of 31. Partly cloudy. Thursday, 35% chance of sleet, 40 high, 31 low for a day for Christmas. For a day after Christmas, we get sleet again, 85% chance, high of 49, low of 30, so higher temps here. It's kind of nice. Won't be crazy snowy for Christmas. Saturday, 70% chance of rain, 47, 31. Sunday, 85% chance, 50, 20. So, God, these temperature gaps, 30-degree difference in one day. Monday, back to the cold, windy, 23, 18 next Monday. Air quality has been good today. Let's go into the sunrise. First light today was at 7:14. Sunrise today was at 7:45 a.m. Sunset was at 7:57. Last light at 5:29 with about 9 hours and 13 minutes of total daylight. Precipitation in the last 6 hours, we got half an inch, a little less than half an inch. Right now, the moon's at 8% illumination. Next moonrise is at 10:26 a.m. Next full moon in 12 days in waxing crescent. About 75% humidity. Tom may be going in stocks for the last 5 days. And we actually have stocks for today above us. Small gains, it looks like, to about half to about 1% gains across the board.
Yes, over the last 5 days, Dow was down 459 points. It's about 1%. S&P was down 25 points, about 0.37%. Nasdaq was down 22 points, 0.10%.
All right, good to hear. Make sure you guys drop a like if you're enjoying the content. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe if you haven't as well, and ring the bell underneath Tommy if you want to get notified whenever we go live. First, I'll be going over real quick the funny topic of the day. It's about how Trump added his name to the Kennedy Center, which is crazy. The Kennedy Center's Board of Trustees, now largely composed of members appointed by President Trump and chaired by him, voted unanimously to rename the institution. The new name adopted is for Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. Trump's name on the building on December 19th. I believe that was last Friday. Crews affixed Trump's name to the exterior signage of the building less than a day after the vote, which is crazy to me. Legal and procedural questions. Legal authority concerns. Critics, including historians and Democratic lawmakers, argued that the board does not have legal authority to rename it the Kennedy Center. The center was established as an act by Congress in 1964 as a living memorial to John F. Kennedy. The law reportedly prohibits adding new memorials or names without congressional approval, which is crazy. That's how Trump is, though. Kennedy family and other object. Members of the Kennedy family strongly criticize change. Kerry Kennedy, a niece of John F. Kennedy, I saw about that, said she intends to remove the Trump's name once his presidency ends. Other family members also voiced for renaming converts for memorial's purpose. I bet the only Kennedy that likes it is RFK, and that's because he's getting paid by him right now. Reactions and political backlash. Conservative support and White House statement for White House and the Center's board framed the new addition as recognition of Trump's role in saving and revitalizing the institution, which I don't know whenever that happened. Democratic criticism. Democratic leaders called the move an overreach and insisted that only Congress have the authority to change the name of a federally established memorial. Some broader context, historical and cultural significance. Kennedy Center is one of the United States sorry, yeah, premier culture institutions and legally um, designated as a memorial as John F. Kennedy, like stated before. Any change to that foundation designation has drawn intense debate. The renaming follows a pattern of the Trump administration of placing his name on federal buildings, including the United States Institute of Peace, which we named to include Trump's name earlier in 2025, which is kind of funny based on as Trump hasn't really ended any wars or created any new peace. How do you feel about this, Tommy?
Listen, it's just ridiculous, So first off, this board that was hand appointed by Donald Trump, in which he chairs, he when he became president of the United States, he threw out the whole board that was in charge of the Kennedy Center, hand selected people, made himself chairman of this board. And then all of a sudden, the board unanimously adds his name to the building. It's just ridiculous. You know, this building, its name, it was given the name, the Kennedy Center, through an act of Congress, and a simple resolution or action by this board. I don't see how that supersedes, a lawful act by Congress. So it's just crazy, and also I just think it shows, the priorities of the Trump administration. They added his name to the Institute of Peace. You mentioned they're adding his name to this Kennedy Center. They're making a new class of battleship about named after him. I think it just shows that the president, his regime, all they chase is the grandeur. All they chase is the spectacle. They don't actually chase actually delivering results for the American people. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you're concerned about the 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 names of federal buildings and how those names can be twisted to um, make our dear leader look good. I guess Donald Trump's the president for you. So just crazy what's going on. We got a man child in the White House.
We do. I agree, Tommy. It's just ignorant, just like Trump is, and I don't know why he's doing it, but we'll see. I mean, if they could remove it whenever he just leaves, that's great. But the history books will laugh at him, so I kind of like that too. Trump seems like he just likes making a mockery of himself. The peace stuff, like you're saying, the battleship stuff, that makes no sense. We don't even need battleships anymore. Use battleships anymore in modern era. It's just dumb. So I'm tired
It's
of Trump doing this
ridiculous.
stupid stuff, but it's funny that he keeps doing it. So history will remember it. Are you good to go into a national one
You know,
topic?
yeah. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
When Donald Trump leaves office, they're gonna have to spend a lot of money on dental floss. Get the dental floss behind the letters. And just
Department of War, all this dumb
slowly,
stuff. Yeah.
you know, like if Republicans are, if they truly are concerned about balancing the budget and they truly are concerned about reducing the deficit, they should keep in mind, that the next administration is going to be spending millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on miles and miles and miles of dental floss.
They
So
are.
just want to keep that in mind.
And Tommy, think
So
about it. If history books will say Trump changed the name to the Department of War, Trump put his name on this peace building. Same year. Kids are gonna be laughing about that in 20 years. I can't wait.
as they should be.
Yep.
I look forward to the time when I can laugh about this time in history. I look forward to that time. Um, anyway, so National One. So wow. So for those that don't know, Donald Trump gave a year-end address to the nation, and the address, it sounded like it was being delivered by a deranged lunatic old madman. I actually I listened to it for this segment of the show. So Trump delivered a rare primetime pre-holiday speech from the White House diplomatic reception room on December 17th. He used the address to review his first year back in office and set a political tone heading into 2026. Okay, let's stop here. I can't think of anything more narcissistic than saying, "Hey, I'm going to give a primetime speech to the nation where I'm going to review my own presidency." Like imagine if like Steven
Sounds
Spielberg
about
got to
Trump, yeah.
review his own movie, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda got to review their own games. I bet they would love that.
They
Um,
would.
so the themes of this speech were just bizarre. So of course, the speech opens up with everything that we have experienced over the past year under the Trump regime. It's all Joe Biden's fault. That was 75% of the speech. Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Trump framed his administration as a turnaround from what he described as the failures of the prior Biden presidency. He blamed the current inflation, high cost of living, uh, healthcare, and immigration on Joe Biden, despite the fact that he's been president since January. He repeatedly mentioned Biden by name, and that was one of the big focuses of the speech was just, hey, um, I'm not a loser. I'm not a failure. Donald Trump was saying, look at the other guy. Look at the other guy who, by the way, hasn't been president for about a year.
Joe Biden.
So, um, secondly, he focused on domestic economic issues. Um, He emphasized economic optimism and touted progress. He spoke of bringing prices down and hide tariffs and tax policies as achievements, which they are not. Um, However, polls show significant public concern about the economy, including low approval rating for the president's handling of it. So, he went out there and he just lied to the American people. He lied, lied, lied. He said, he said prices are going down. No, prices are going up. He said, tariffs are a sound economic policy. They are not a sound economic policy for the American people. So again, if he wasn't talking about Joe Biden and he was talking about himself, he was lying. Although he revealed little truly new policy, um, he did announce a $1,776 warrior dividend payment to U.S. troops. Um, and yeah, but the big takeaway is the speech was not a forward-looking speech largely. It was a speech based on um, political retribution and political blame gaming when it comes to Joe Biden, and it was a speech based upon lies when it comes to economic issues. So really, not a lot of significant policy announcements. Um, uh, the speech it really did not mimic like a traditional like Oval Office style address. It was very campaign like. It was very rhetorical. It wasn't like my fellow Americans, with the resolute desk and the flags. It was much more the unhingedness of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
So,
kind of like his
of
rallies, it
course,
says, which makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So he didn't really talk about foreign policy issues, which makes sense. It's just crazy. The whole speech was crazy. What he was trying to convey was just totally bizarre. The fact that a sitting president is so focused on his predecessor is bizarre. Um, you know, the whole speech was just truly something and a sad, sad spectacle. So, what do you think, Liam?
I agree. And it kind of shows how Trump is just stuck in this fight. You know what I mean? He knows that, oh, if I just talk about Biden, and it's sad because, like we talked about time and time again, he said he was going to, like, help with diversiveness and, diversiveness in America, but he's not. He's adding fuel to the fire every chance he can get. He can't let, sleeping dogs lie with Joe Biden and say, it's just going to take some time for my policy to come through. It's not just going to be instant. What you would probably see from a Democrat. He goes, oh, it's the last guy, and it's just, I'm tired of it. He really needs that, and it kind of shows, for all this Epstein stuff coming out, he hasn't really had much wins. Like when you talk to him and talk to Trumpers on Facebook in person, they don't really have wins. They actually like immigrants being taken away, and that's just based on hypocrisy and ignorance. So really, it's like there's no win. Stuff's more expensive. Gas is, gas is a little cheaper. I won't lie about that. That's literally about it. And I'm not someone that always believes like the president controls gas, and I said that even when um, Biden was president. They could help it a little bit, but most of the time it's like county and state taxes. So it's just crazy. So I'm tired of this. Until we actually see stuff happen. Um, it's all gonna be BS in my eyes. And I'm talking about local topic
Absolutely.
too. If you're ready to go into it, Tom.
Yep,
All right, let's
I'm ready.
go. New Epstein files got released on the deadline. There was several hundred thousand now, and they also said there'll be 700,000 later. Some already got removed though. On 15 got removed, and there's a ton of redactions. New Epstein file release. Let's go into it. The federal government began releasing documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein's criminal case and related investigations. For release came under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, a new law passed by a wide bipartisan majority and signed in by President Donald Trump. The files include photos and investigate records, grand jury transcripts, and communications tied with Epstein and his associates. But a large number of the pages were heavily redacted, with hundreds of pages entirely blacked out. Some files, including photos involved well-known figures, were temporarily removed from the Department of Justice website shortly after being posted, with officials saying these actions were aimed towards protecting victims' privacy. And there was a victim that did find out she wasn't redacted, and I think it was like the Times called her about it. But like that's not all the photos either. A lot of them were like there was some that were just Trump, and they removed them. Lawmakers who champion the Transparency Act, such as Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, blasted the release as incomplete and excessively redacted, accusing the Justice Department of floating the law's intent of flouting. They described this partial release as a slap in the face to Epstein survivors, and it is a partial release, and they were supposed to release everything. Khanna and Massie has discussed possible legal actions, including contempt charges or fines against Attorney General Pam Bondi if the full files are not released as mandated. Other lawmakers, including Democratic leaders and some Republicans, argue that the department's handling may violate the law's requirements, even if officials insist they are trying to balance transparency with victims' protection. But I've kind of seen like they're also trying to protect, and we've seen now that this was sown because we've kind of seen a lot of leaks about it. There's a lot of people working in the government. They spent millions of dollars on this. There were a lot of leaks that we heard about that Trump was in them a lot, and then these come out and Trump's not in them a lot. And then we basically seen Fox News said this as well, that people at the federal government were told to like redact people that were either government officials or that would like politically hurt people. So it's kind of crazy that obviously Trump got redacted a lot and they're just being bad against it. Um, Survivors of the Epstein abuse have also spoken out. One victim publicly criticized the Department of Justice improper handling of redaction of her own information, like I said before, saying her own identity appeared unredacted in some documents, despite protections required under the law. Critics say this undermines the trust in the process. Advocates argue that the redactions appear to go well beyond protecting privacy, effectively obscuring key details that could shed light on powerful individuals linked in the Epstein network. Some of it too was about this grand jury testimony that a judge released to fully be released to the public, and it was all redacted. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche has defended the approach, asserting that his redactions were made strictly to protect victims' identities and comply with legal requirements. Not to shed any public figures or shield any public figures. He claimed that the files will be fully released once redaction reviews are complete. Blanche emphasized that the department is working within law, and further batches of documents will be released in coming weeks. However, missing files and heavy censorship remain sources of public skepticism. What comes next? Next steps include ongoing pressure from Congress, survivors' advocates, and some legal experts to compel full disclosure and accountability. Lawmakers are considering formal remedies, from fines to contempt proceedings. We'll have to see. What do you think, Tommy?
Listen, the law was very clear that the files had to be released by this day, okay? And then they were not released by that date. It was very simple. The law does not operate. It's not a system of recommendations. It's not a suggestion. It was a command. to the Department of Justice that these files have to be looked at, proper redactions have to be made, and these documents have to be released by the specified date. And they did not do that. In fact, they admit that they did not do that. This deputy AG is, he's saying that, hey, we started the process on that date. The law didn't say start the process on that date. It said complete the process by the date. Okay, so what we are seeing, by the Trump administration, it's just more and more and more stonewalling. It's more and more delay, and it's just ridiculous.
Agreed.
Here's what it comes down to. Um, Donald Trump does not want the American people to know his alleged involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. It does, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist, but if you look at the pictures, you got Donald Trump and you got Jeffrey Epstein. Do they look like they're friends? I think they look like they're very good friends. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, so something's going on here. They're not complying with the law, and more importantly, the American people have the right to know what is going on with this, besides the obvious common sense redactions that need to be made.
And do
The
you remember,
American
Tommy, real
people,
quick? Um, there was that one photo where he wrote the exact same thing on a photo to his chief of staff that he wrote for Epstein,
right,
which is crazy. I
yeah,
mean, they weren't friends.
right.
I don't know. I don't
They were
know,
just
man.
writing handwritten notes to each other, but they weren't friends, like. And then the note is the same note he sent to his chief of staff.
Hmm.
Same sort of
There was
verbiage
another
between
one
the
too,
two. So
Tommy, where it was a big Epstein was holding a big check written by Trump to him.
yeah, sorry
Very
you were cutting out.
interesting. Oh, you're good. There was one where it was Epstein holding a big check, and like Trump's signature was on it. Trump wrote him a big check for
Yeah,
his money. So I mean, there's
yeah,
connections, guys. It's crazy.
yeah. And we don't even have to go into all of that. All we really have to go into here is the damn law said release the files. Where are the files? Where are the files? And they need to be released. They need to be released right now because that's what the law demands.
Hmm. We don't want to hear about Hillary. We don't want to hear about the past. This stuff now. Be fair. Same like we talked about before. They're going after Bill Clinton. Be fair with a president 20 years ago, and even 25 now. Plus 30, 25 years ago. Let's go after Trump. Um, are you ready to go on the next one real quick, Tommy? Well, actually, wait. I want to say one more
Yeah,
thing because we kind of keep talking about this, but I want to get my point too, and I agree. Like a lot of these new releases are interesting, and it condemns both. Like we talked about Clinton, but like a lot of times with Trump too. So look into it. There's like drop boxes about it. I'm probably gonna go to the bathroom when you talk about this one real quick. So you're good. I'm just
yeah.
gonna.
Okay, so let's talk about some property tax reform or so-called property tax reform. So, DeWine signs five property tax bill key points. So, on December 19th, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine Boo signed five property tax reform bills into law. The package is part of a major overhaul of the state's property tax system and is expected to save homeowners over $3 billion over the next 3 years. It's very, very, very much dependent upon the area, though. So, like locally, homeowners really won't see that much. But it does depend. Lawmakers in DeWine say that the goal is to provide tax relief while protecting essential services. Um, Really, the purpose is that they are scared that they dug themselves into this hole when it comes to property tax issues because they've just been siphoning funds, and taxpayers have been having to make up the difference through property tax. So that's really what they're worried about, and they're worried about this referendum that may be coming up that's just going to blow up the whole system that they designed to essentially fail. Um, but they say, uh, they're just trying to provide tax relief. Um, so uh, the bill increases the owner occupancy tax credit, um, eventually reaching a 15.38 credit over 4 years, a boost over current levels. A new inflation cap credit prevents unvoted property taxes in school districts from rising faster than inflation. These credits aim to reduce sudden spikes in tax bills stemming from rising property values. Limit on tax growth. School districts' taxing growth is capped, so unvoted increases are limited to roughly the rate of inflation, helping blunt rapid increases. The formula for the 20 mil floor is revised so that more schools are above it. One bill gives county budget commissions authority to reduce property taxes or levies, even if they're voted upon, which is strange if revenues exceed expenses. My friend Liam has said, and my co-host has always said, when is it bad, for a county or a local government to have excess funds to have as savings. Another bill tightens how mileage increases from reappraisals can happen without voter approval. So the Flip the Script Act, was also signed into law. Changes how property valuations are determined locally, giving county auditors greater control over sales data used for reevaluation. So here we go. This is what I was talking about. Oh, there's a lot of talk coming out of Republicans. A lot of talk coming out of Columbus, out of DeWine, out of the General Assembly. Oh, you hear Dave Thomas say, we're gonna deliver meaningful property tax reform to the people of Ohio. No. So, according to the Tribune Chronicle, the average local homeowner is projected to save $128 in their property tax bill. So all this for $128. However, homeowners in areas where school districts are already at or near the 20 mil floor will see even less reductions. They'll see smaller or no reductions, in urban areas like Youngstown and other urban areas. So, but of course, urban areas vote Democratic, so they're not too concerned about actually delivering property tax relief for urban areas. So, so the bills were spearheaded by State Representative Dave Thomas. Boo. And reflects months of negotiation and earlier property tax reform efforts, which were stalled for a long time. Earlier this year, DeWine vetoed property tax provisions, including in the state budget, prompting this working group, which really just led us to here. DeWine emphasized the need to balance relief with funding for critical local services. So property taxes have been rising sharply in Ohio, and the Republicans in the General Assembly, are very, very, very worried about voter sentiment towards property taxes and this upcoming probable referendum. So, these bills represent one of the largest overhauls of Ohio's property tax system in decades, aimed at reducing unexpected tax spikes and giving homeowners more stability and predictability. The new laws will go into effect in about 90 days after signing, likely affecting 2026 tax years and beyond. So, yeah, so this is just a devastating situation. And it's going to negatively impact, chiefly our public schools here. Our public schools, which are primarily funded by property taxes. They are going to really, really feel the blunt of this. And also, if the property taxes are completely eliminated, like the crazy people are pushing for in this forthcoming referendum, it's gonna be disastrous for our state. We're essentially gonna stop investing in children's education. Because because people are upset about property taxes and the current property tax system that was created by Republicans in order to fund their extravagant tax cuts for the rich. So just crazy. So I guess going forward, what we need to keep an eye on with these reforms is A, how they affect our public schools, and B, how the voters react to this. Are they going to be less willing to vote for the nuclear option, which would be just getting rid of property taxes, which is currently being advocated for by Republicans. Uh, are these provisions enough to thwart that effort? And I think very likely the answer is going to be no.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how this referendum turns out going into the new year, and we'll also have to see how these provisions come to affect our public schools. So,
Yeah, it'll be
what do you have?
interesting, Tommy, because like it's only gonna save the average American a house, owner in Ohio, $128 a year, but it's gonna hurt a lot of these schools that they don't think it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Places like
Right.
Poland, South Range, a lot of places do the South, Canfield, places. Just think, if your city doesn't have that much business or industry, this is basically like hurting businesses but helping the homeowners. But a lot of homeowners, retirement communities, places that, a little bit nicer but less industry, your schools are going to get worse off from this. That's just how it works. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? The
You
less
know,
tax rate. It's dumb.
no civilization has ever made a good decision by investing less in their children's future and in their children's education. That is
That's all.
something that is true literally throughout human history. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to advance your society, if you want to advance um your country, if you want to improve living conditions, if you want to do anything, you invest in children's education. But Republicans, they don't understand that in this state.
Nope. They want to go the private side, or they think their kids will be good in their crappy public schools too. Because some of these public schools are crappy. It's just that all depends where you go. And like we're saying,
They're probably sending their kids to Ursuline.
yeah. But like I'm saying, like even like Poland, like Poland's gonna get crappier now. It's mostly residential people in there. So just imagine that, guys. Just be smart, but no one cares. They just want to save money. People love the concept of paying less taxes because they don't understand what taxes give them. They love driving on roads all day, but don't understand it. They like drinking water all day, but don't understand it. So crazy to me. Are you good to go on to our last local topic? It should be a quick show
Yeah.
tonight. All right, this should be a quick one. Pretty local for me. I want to talk about it. It's basically Gerard going forward for Wellman Theater. Um, for Wellman Theater, located on West Liberty and Gerard, is a historic building, long viewed as a city landmark and potential cultural hub. In recent years, it's been under discussion for a site for restoration and public use, especially by local theater groups invested in having a long-term home. At a recent city council meeting, George City made it official. Will move ahead with her plans to restore it starting early next year. Mayor Mark Zuppo met with architects engaged on the project, and their focus is on structural and community use improvements. Key actions planned ahead include a removal of outdated exterior elements such as a small roof over the alley area, addressing the theater's roof conditions. The city previously restored asbestos concerns, important step before a deeper renovation work can begin. Door officials are coordinating with KO Consulting to assist with securing funding and guiding other portions of the project. So that would be interesting. Um, Part of the theater's restoration includes establishment of a permanent home for a millennial theater company, started by someone in Gerard too, Ascente, local performing arts group that has been without a dedicated space for years. That means beyond just preserving bricks and mortar. This project supports arts, culture, and the community engagement here in Gerard. I think it's going to help out a lot, kind of like Robbins Theaters and Warren. It's kind of always good to see these places, a little cheaper places to see some music sometimes, or sometimes a comedy show or anything really. The Millennial Theater Company has been active since 2016, producing musicals and performances, but it's been a traveling organization without a permanent venue, which is nice. This restoration could give them and the community a central space for events, performance, and cultural gatherings. So good to see. And like I said before, it's nice to see some historical preservation happening in Gerard, a landmark that anchors part of a downtown's identity. Used to be a theater back in the day, and it was a church for a bit. It's going to help with arts and cultural growth in the area, providing a long-term home for a local theater company that could help boost attendance and local activity. Same guy that helps out at Sente as well. He's a teacher and the drama guy in Gerard High School right now, so that's also good. It's also good to see someone helping out all around like that. It's also an economic opportunity. Revitalizing a key property could stimulate nearby business activity and pride in the community. they have a bar there. I love drinking and seeing shows, kind of like I do at Robin's. So it would be awesome to see. What do you think, Tommy?
I really don't got much to say about this. Other than, I'm happy for the community of Girard. I think any sort of, I just generally speaking,
Could see a punk
I
rock
love
show there
sort
one
of,
day, Tommy, or a heavy metal show. You never know.
yeah. I love sort of, revitalization. It provides, benefits to the community. It provides, some short-term jobs, as the work is being done to restore the city. So no, I think it's an overwhelmingly positive thing, and I'm happy for the residents of Girard, and for those that will be able to utilize this. And I think it's a great use of a great and smart use of taxpayer funds, so
Yeah, and like,
or
like, like
grant
we've seen,
money.
like we've seen with Warren, I think could really help out the downtown area. Cause like Warren's
Yeah,
always had Packard, but Packard's 4 blocks away from downtown.
yeah,
So I mean, heck, if I'm drinking at Packard seeing a show, Dropkick Murphy show, do I really want to walk 4 blocks to downtown to get food before or after? But Robbins is right there, and that's nice.
yeah.
It's a late area. They got Dave Grohl Alley, so it'd be interesting to see what Gerard could do. I can get Gerard Walk before, go see a punk rock show, and go into Mosh Pit and throw Gerard Walk up everywhere. Be eating crab rangoons out of my girlfriend's purse at a punk rock show. Sounds lit. We heaven. I'll descend, as some would say. So we'll have to see. Like we said, it'll be another quick one tonight. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed the content. That really helps us out with the algorithm. As well, drop us a like on Facebook with all of our posts. We post them, we share. Help us get them out there. We can ring the bell if you want to be notified. Subscribe if you're not as well. We'll be here Thursday. Oh wait, Thursday's Christmas. We'll be here probably Friday night for a sports show. We'll see. We'll see, guys. Maybe Wednesday night. Probably not. We might skip the sports show this week because of Christmas. But we'll be back here for a new week ahead news show on Monday. There's never good holidays on Monday that we have to miss, so that kind of sucks. We get like Flag Day and for ones that we get off work, but like people don't party for. So we're always here. We'll be here for episode 43. Make sure you drop by. That's it for me. Good night, Youngstown. Hope you guys have a great Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Hope you enjoy the time off.
Have a happy holidays, everyone. Good night.
Peace, guys.